news out of Phoenix dropped a bombshell this morning. CP3 of the Phoenix Suns, who just made an All-Star, an All-NBA team, just entered the NBA's COVID-19 health and safety protocols and is out indefinitely. This is a stunner, a huge bombshell to be dropped this morning. And this could be a huge blow to the Phoenix Suns and to his own chances of winning an NBA championship. This may have just jeopardized and put him in jeopardy of winning an NBA championship. Now, for some perspective, the Phoenix Suns clinched a trip to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 11 seasons, since 2010. Chris Paul, this is just the second time in his career that he's reached the conference finals, both times in the Western Conference. And according to the NBA's health and safety protocols for COVID-19, if you are entered into this, depending on whether or not you actually tested positive for COVID or were just exposed to someone that had COVID-19 or has COVID-19, that distinguishes the duration of time that you're going to miss. So it's possible that if Chris Paul has been vaccinated, then he won't have to isolate himself for nearly as long. But if you're Chris Paul, and I don't want to rip him right now because of how fantastic he's been this postseason. I don't want to rip him right now until we have gathered more information on the topic. But if you are Chris Paul, you are 36 years old. You're a veteran in the NBA. This was your best chance at winning an NBA title. And you potentially will have to miss the start of the Western Conference Finals and could potentially miss out on an opportunity to win an NBA championship because you decided to exercise your right by refusing to get vaccinated. He seems like a much more intelligent player than that to me until we know for sure that is in fact what happened. Again, if it comes out and there's new light that's shed on the situation that he did in fact get vaccinated and you just happen to get in contact with someone who was exposed to COVID-19, I'll retract my statements. But that has to be one of the more unintelligent and, quite frankly, ignorant decisions by Chris Paul. Now, I'm not here to advocate for you to get vaccinated or not. That doesn't matter to me. But if you're an NBA athlete, if you're a star athlete across any sport, but especially the NBA, why leave this opportunity up to chance? Why take a chance when you know how strict and how punitive the measures are instituted and installed by the NBA to take a chance on being exposed to someone with COVID? You're Chris Paul. This is an opportunity to enhance your legacy. He's been enhancing his legacy this postseason. He's got Mike Malone saying he could arguably be the greatest point guard of all time. Most people have kind of cinched him into the number 2 spot. And you could potentially be throwing that away because you were ignorant to not get vaccinated. I thought the NBA should have mandated and made it absolutely mandatory that all NBA players get vaccinated. Again, I'm not pushing for you as an individual to get vaccinated or not. You can exercise your right, but if you're an NBA athlete, why take this to chance? The latest NBA player to enter into the NBA's COVID-19 health and protocol safeties was Dennis Schroeder of the Lakers. He missed 14 days, and he never came back the same. And maybe that contributed to his awful performances and his 0 for 9 performance in Game 5. I don't know. But if you're Chris Paul, I love Chris Paul. The story that he's had, the narrative that he's cultivated for himself this year, being the ultimate winner, positioning himself, being primed like he's never been primed before to win an NBA championship. It would be such a heartwarming story to capture that elusive title. And all of that could be jeopardized, could be in jeopardy because potentially he didn't get vaccinated. Again, it's possible he did. I don't know yet. I'll retract my statements. If in fact he was vaccinated, then listen, things happen. You encounter different people and you move on. That's what happens. But if this was his own doing, then what was it worth it? Was it worth it to enact your freedom and not get vaccinated, but cost yourself a chance at winning an NBA title? I mean, now the only silver lining is that the fact that the Phoenix Suns swept the Nuggets buys them some extra time before the start of the Western Conference Finals. So it's possible that with the Clippers and Jazz series at least going 6 games, then you have to factor in the likelihood of about a 3 to 4, potentially 5-day layoff between the end of the second round to the beginning of the Western Conference Finals. It's possible that even if he is isolated, he'll be able to return with enough time to start game 1. But it's possible that he may not, and they may have to start the Western Conference Finals without him. It's going to really test Adam Silver, to say the least. So we'll see what happens. But we've been chronicling his career, and he's endured so much. He's persevered so much to get himself to the point. LeBron James, he knocks out LeBron James. He's out. The Nets are vulnerable. You beat the Nuggets without Jamal Murray. We've seen just the litany of injuries that have ravaged the NBA and the teams. And not that Chris Paul should feel badly because he's been on the other end of it, but now you're in this position and you may have just thrown it all away. So I'm not sure. Johnny Riff says CP3 will be fine. What if he didn't know he was exposed? Well, he knows now. If he didn't know before, he knows now. Again, if he was vaccinated, I have no problem with any of this. You hug your mom, you hug your family. You never know if someone's going to be exposed. That's just the nature of the day-to-day of being an athlete. You encounter reporters, you encounter fans. Happens. It's innocuous, it's out of your control. Fine. No issues with that. I don't take umbrage at that at all. But if what contributed to it was your reluctance and refusal to get vaccinated, that's a different story. That's a different